Imagine a time when society is divided, religious beliefs are under attack, and a nation teeters on the brink of revolution. Sounds familiar? What if I told you this isn't just a description of America today, but also of France over 200 years ago? Recently, at the 2024 Olympic opening ceremony in France, a controversial performance by drag queens mocked the Last Supper, echoing the Revolutionary era's disdain for Christianity. Today, we'll explore the striking parallels between these two eras and what they could mean for our future. Stay tuned, because understanding history might just help us navigate the challenges we face today. Inversely, those who do not know history are doomed to repeat it. But hey, before we move on to that, please consider subscribing to The Gospel Mindset for more videos just like this one. In the late 18th century, France was a nation on the brink of monumental change. The Enlightenment brought a wave of new thinking, challenging traditional beliefs and authority. This period saw a significant rise in secular and atheistic philosophies, often clashing with the deeply rooted Christian values of the time. Fast forward to today, and we see a similar dynamic in the United States. There's a growing secularism and a noticeable rise in atheistic perspectives, often accompanied by a pushback against traditional Christian beliefs. This cultural shift is evident in debates over morality, public policy, and even the role of religion in public life. However, it is also seen in the overt agenda in social political movements of the progressive left. Just as in pre-revolutionary France, the US today faces a polarization between these worldviews. In France, Enlightenment thinkers like Voltaire, Diderot, and Rousseau criticized the church and advocated for a society based on reason and science, going as far to say things like, "Man will never be free until the last king is strangled with the entrails of the last priest." This supposedly intellectual movement laid the groundwork for revolutionary ideas that would eventually change the nation. Similarly, in the US, voices advocating for secularism often challenged Christian norms, promoting a worldview centered on hedonism, the seeking of self-pleasure in thoughts, actions, and sensuality. This tension can be seen in debates over issues like childhood education, law, and public displays of immorality. The difference between the French Revolution and the American Revolution is that the Americans, in part, sought to have freedom of religion from the oppression of a foreign king, whereas the French Revolution, in some aspects, sought to eliminate religion altogether. At first, revolutionaries sought the support of the Catholic Church. Some estimates say that 54% of the clergy and laity of France supported the revolution in the early days of the movement. However, after the execution of King Louis XVI on January 21st of 1793, the revolutionary movement quickly fixed their eyes upon the Catholic Church. The church was seen as an integral part of the monarchy, and it was something that needed to be abolished to form the new secularized society that the revolutionary thought leaders wanted to create. What followed was a period of time known as the Reign of Terror, in which the revolutionary government imposed a series of laws to both persecute and replace the Christian church. 30,000 priests and bishops were exiled from France during this time, and hundreds of bishops, priests, and laity for the Catholic Church were sent to the guillotine by a kangaroo court. The first state-sponsored religion was established, called the Cult of Reason. And yes, I did say religion. It focused exclusively on atheistic principles of holding to science and reason. Christian churches all across France were turned into temples of reason, and an event called the Festival of Reason took place on November 10th, 1793 at Notre Dame. The accounts of exactly what happened at the event are uncertain, but two things are certain. The first thing is that the altar in the church was replaced with a throne on which a female actress sat upon as the goddess of reason, replacing Jesus Christ and mocking Christianity. The second certainty was that the event had so much lewd and inappropriate depravities being practiced that many people started to distance themselves from the cult of reason altogether. Even Maximilien Robespierre, who was believed to be the de facto dictator of the revolutionary period, a man who hated the Catholic Church, wanted nothing to do with this group of atheists, because he could see that this form of atheism was leading to complete social disorder. The leaders of the Cult of Reason were all sent to the guillotine, and just days after, the Cult of Reason ended. Robespierre attempted to create a new state-sponsored religion called the Cult of the Supreme Being, which was a deistic worldview that would be more akin to the beliefs of the Freemason Society. Although Robespierre never claimed to be a Freemason himself, the core of the Cult of the Supreme Being and the deistic views of the Freemasons are markedly similar. This cult also came to an abrupt end when Robespierre was sent to the guillotine himself on July 28, 1794. Later, Napoleon Bonaparte banned both the Cult of Reason and the Cult of the Supreme Being in 1802. completely ending the experiment of state-sponsored atheistic and deistic religions, which were meant to replace Christianity in France. So, where does that leave us today? And what does it have to do with the current cultural climate in America? You see, divisions between left and right, Christian and non-Christian, are more volatile than ever before. The fringe of the hyper-progressive left has been calling for years for right-wingers to be sent to re-education centers, and that the most dangerous thing for America is Christian nationalism. Recently, after the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump, leftists on the internet were praising the attacker and were destitute that he did not finish the job. Many Christians see this as a miracle from God that he was not harmed. This tension between left and right, religious versus anti-religious, is rising more and more. If these tensions continue to rise, then the United States may be in for a second revolution. Only this time, it would not be in the virtue of finding freedom from a foreign king, securing an equal nation under God. But instead, it would be much more like the French Revolution, neighbors and cousins fighting each other in the interest of preserving this devolving hedonism and the Dechristianization of America. So how do we stop this from happening? The first step is to get out of our echo chambers and to speak to others that we disagree with. We must bridge the gaps between left and right, between religious and anti-religious. In 1 Peter 3:15, we're encouraged to always be prepared to give an answer for the hope that we have, but to do so with gentleness and respect. This means listening to people who disagree with us, seeking common ground, while still upholding our faith with grace. I don't want to go to war with anybody, let alone my fellow citizens of the United States. Because of that, I desire to speak to those who disagree with me and share with them the reasons why I believe what I believe with kindness and love. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, these cultural conversations are an opportunity to deepen our understanding of history, human nature, and the diverse perspectives that shape our world. If you found this video to be helpful, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about these parallels between these two time periods? How can we navigate today's cultural challenges? I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching The Gospel Mindset. God bless you and have a wonderful day.